Hello students, I've had some questions on how to create the SPSS file and what you need to do for the SPSS file in order to turn in assignment 3. So I'm going to be running you through that very quickly today. So what you see here is you're going to see, this is what a blank SPSS data file looks like. Nothing has been entered into it yet, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be entering our data from our Phase 2 feelings questionnaire into this SPSS file in order for you to turn it in and get your full grade. So the first thing you need to do is this is SPSS. It looks a lot like Excel. You have boxes. Each box kind of delineates a certain crossroad between a variable and a participant. So the first thing you should see is we have a number of rows. They're basically infinite, and we have a number of columns. They're basically infinite. And our columns are currently just called var because their columns represent each individual variable or each individual item. And generally, each row is going to represent a participant and their answers to those variables. So let's set up those variables now. So down here in the bottom left-hand corner of SPSS, you're going to see two tabs, a data view tab and a variable view tab. The data view tab is used to enter data. The variable view tab is used to define the variables. So that's what we need to do now. So for our first variable, we will call it question 1. And then hit enter, and you'll see it'll automatically fill in a lot of the rest of it. Now, it should be noted that if you put a space in your variable name, it will not allow it because spaces are illegal characters in SPSS variable names. So just something to think about. Back to question 1. So question 1. I called this question 1 because that's what the first question on our survey is called, question 1. And you're going to call them all questions up through question 16. So let's see what the rest of the variable kind of means. So the type, what you're looking for is what type of data are we entering. We're entering numeric, so it's fine to leave it just like that. The width is just how wide the column is going to be. It doesn't really matter right now. And the decimals are how many decimal places our data is going to be entered into. You can move it to 0 since we're dealing with whole numbers, or you can just leave it at 2. It doesn't particularly matter. Now the next two parts are going to be the most important, and those are labels and values. So label is, this is what the actual label of question 1 is. And that label is what it's asking, which is, right now, I feel good about myself. And that is what the label is at. And that was what question 1 is asking. So now, when we want to know what question 1 is, we can go look. Oh, it's asking, right now, I feel good about myself. To add to that, we need to see what the actual data points mean, or what the values that we're going to be implementing or inputting are. So 1, as we see here, means strongly disagree. I'll add that. 2 is a 2, 3 is a 3, 4 is a 4, 5 is a 5, 6 is a 6, 7 is a 7, 8 is an 8, and 9 is a strongly agree. And what this lets us do is now we can, at any time, look to see what our data points are kind of reflecting. So if we're getting a lot of low numbers in this question, we know that that means that people are strongly disagreeing with right now they feel good about themselves. Or if we get a lot of high answers, it means that they are agreeing with it. What it does is it allows us to interpret the data or look at the data that we're putting in without having to go back and look at the questionnaire for interpretation. That's really it. You don't really need to worry about the missing portion of it currently. None is fine. And the rest of it is just kind of cosmetic stuff we'll have to deal with. So once you have that done for question 1 and all the other questions on the survey, you would go back then to data view and input your data points. Now, as I said before, each row is going to be a participant. So row 1 will be participant 1, row 2 will be participant 2, and row 3 will be participant 3. And all you're going to do is enter the responses they gave you. So if they gave you a 4 for question 1, you would put a 4 there. If they gave you a 6 or an 8 for question 2, you put an 8 there, so on and so forth. You'll see if you don't name a variable, it'll automatically just default it to variable and then with a string of numbers behind it. Again, you need to go and define all these. It'll also create the variable in your variable tab, and you'll have to go and define all that as well. So that's how you use SPSS to create a simple data sheet. Once you have all 3 participants entered in, you will go ahead and save it. So save as, save to wherever you save things to. And then turn it into the Blackboard system under Assignment 3, where you have the ability to upload a file. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. If not, please feel free to email me any questions. Thank you. Have a nice day.